Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
On the newspaper page, and love and tradition of the grand design, some people say it's even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls, 'cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every scene. It's the bigger love of the family.
What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Chief here with Bob the Cigar Guy YouTube channel, ChevetteReport.com, and all things in the Bob the Cigar Guy universe. Welcome in Michael, Carter, Fireborn, Charles, Adam, Michael, Zach, Vic, Banker, John, Matt, the man, Brugger. Welcome in Gary, Zanstra. You guys are over here having a whole long conversation over here. Goodness gracious, you guys are back and forth. Let me see who else am I missing. Bob the Cigar Guy's in the chat. Welcome into the chat, Bob the Cigar Guy. Mac Bergson. Welcome in the show, Bob Ellis. How are you doing, Cigar Pop? The man, the myth, the legend. Tell you what, nobody shares this show like Cigar Pop does. He's killing it over there. Banker John, welcome in. So glad the intro is back this week. I did it just for you, just because it was missed last week. Rick, Carol, Brett Kelly, and my homie Supremo Tobacco. Also, what's going on? Robert W. Kowasixalif. I don't know how to pronounce that. Must be Spanish. Welcome into the show. Hopefully you guys are all doing great. Hopefully you have had a fantastic week since the last Thursday we were here last week. Hopefully you've smoked some good stuff in between then and now. I would love to know it. Also, I want to know, what are you smoking? What are you drinking? Tonight, I have already pre-lit an Undercrown 10. This cigar has really grown into my profile the past few months. I've always really enjoyed this cigar, aside from when it was in the Freestyle Live pack. That's the only time I really didn't like the cigar. But since its inception as a full launch, brand launch, I've enjoyed the cigar. But I find myself smoking more and more and more of this Mexican San Andreas as the weeks go by. What's going on, Jeremy Fincher? How are you doing this evening? All right, so how are we doing? Again, I feel like I've already asked that, but I want to know, how are we doing? What have you smoked? What are you smoking tonight? Tonight's going to be a lot of fun. Tonight is the March Madness Bracket Showdown. It wouldn't be a March here on Chief Talk if we didn't do some sort of bracket. So tonight we are going to be doing a top 16 cigar company bracket as voted on by you all. Sorry. I feel like we haven't done an actual company bracket before. I don't think we've ever done just a company bracket before. We've done brackets within companies over a certain amount of weeks, and then those companies faced off in a Final Four last year. I think that was when we did it. Maybe it was the year before we did that. But I figured this go round, we would actually do a Final Four or a March Madness-esque bracket of 16 teams here. So also, I would be remiss if I didn't say hello to our co-host this evening. He didn't even pop himself in the stage. Welcome into the show, Bob the Cigar Guy.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land and
Already
Facebook land.
22
people.
So we continue the streak, 10 out of 10, a full 100%. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Go back.
That's it. I was about to say the same thing. So
Oh,
we
okay.
were of one mind.
Let's see. Having a Julius Caesar in a Cheerwine slushy. Whoa. I'll allow the Cheerwine slushy. That does sound really good. Mexican San Andreas is so good. Matt Brugger smoking a UC10 flying pin with some root beer. Hey yo. Rick Carroll's got the Fuente Don Carlos Presidente with some E.H. Taylor. I'm finishing off a shot glass. I'm sipping on it. I'm not shooting it. Of Basil Hayden. Basil Hayden's also something that's I've started to enjoy a little bit more here recently as well. What are you smoking on over there, Bob the Cigar Guy?
I am smoking on a Herrera Esteli Habano. Did you know that Habano seed came from Cuba?
Whoa.
And Habano means from Cuba. And then it went to Nicaragua and Ecuador. And there are two types of Habanos.
Is that just how you spell Havana?
No, it means from Havana, from Cuba. And there were two varieties of that seed, the Habano 2000, which is a hybridized tobacco, and then the original Habano, and they are done differently in Ecuador, which is shade grown to mimic the Cuban weather, and then it's in Nicaragua in the sun grown with the volcanic soil. That's right.
Whoa. Michael Zakvak said the Mi Querida Tricky Chocolate. I smoked one of those on Tuesday. I've forgotten how much I love that cigar. That's, when I bounce around Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust right now, I'm kind of right now, especially I'm smoking on those Todos Los Dias double wide bellicosos. I also have found myself smoking some of the Pulpetta, still trying to force myself into liking those cigars. And I smoke a lot of the Sober Mesa Brulee, Sober Mesa Blue when I can get my hands on them. And I actually smoked a regular OG Sober Mesa Solita yesterday. Yesterday, because today's Thursday. So I'm kind of dipping my toes back into the OG Saka blends. It's been a nice little trip. What's up, Jay Bates? How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Is Crowns on the list? Crowns is not on the list this evening. Cigar Pop just finished smoking a Hoya de Nicaragua Cinco de Cinco with an espresso. Ooh, he's gonna be up for a couple hours. Jeremy Fincher says, "What up, Mr. Bob? Loving the content."
Why, thank you very much.
What up, Mr. Bob? Cigar Pop is also saying, "What's up, Bob the Cigar Guy?" Jay Bates, Mac Burke and Jay Bates are basically the same person. Says BTCG is the man.
I love
Rick
that
Carroll
Mackie B.
also enjoys himself some Basil Hayden. I like Basil Hayden. I've never tried it on the rocks, but I feel like it doesn't need it. I feel like Basil Hayden's a nice sipping whiskey. Mitsunari, who is Jay Bates, is not smoking, but I have an Arby's French dip in Swiss and Coke right now. Ooh, man's messing up the guts. Speaking of Underground 10, Sammy Flo, welcome into the show. Chief, Basil Hayden toasted dry smoked old fashioned is delicious, by the way. I've wanted to try it. I've not wanted to try it in an old fashioned, but we have it at the lounge, and I thought, ooh, that does kind of sound really good. Toasted? Does sound good. Missed opportunity leaving out Crowns. Sorry. I did not. So let me add this to the, where's my thing? Oh, there it is. Pull this over here. It's got to be on the actual screen. There we go. Share the bracket. So there is tonight's bracket. Boom. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Why is this? Why my background's not work? Oh, it's because I don't have it selected. Aha, there we go. So there's tonight's March Madness bracket. So we did do these seeded, and Chat GPT helped seed these. So I did not seed these. There were some companies that I left out. Companies that Bob the Cigar and I don't smoke, like Ashton was one of the ones on there. Rocky Patel was in there. There was another one in there that I decided not to throw in either. So it also left out Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Who else it left out Tatawahe, it left out Placencia. So those are the three companies that I ended up putting in there. So I did not seed most of these. Some of these I did seed. They had Drew Estate as the number 5. I went ahead and put as number 4. I felt like they should have been a number 1 seed if we were doing like a full 4-sided regional bracket. So tonight we've got Padron, Tatawahe, Perdomo, Placencia, Drew Estate, Alec Bradley, Oliva, Room 101, Arturo Fuente, Roma Craft, AJ Fernandez, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, Davidoff, La Flor Dominicana. I didn't have enough to put the A. My Father, and then Foundation Cigar. Bob Cigar, do you feel comfortable with any of those, like with all of those cigar brands? Do you
Absolutely
feel like you would be able to be like, you know what, I can make an informed opinion upon those?
I believe I could.
Okay. Do you who do you think's going to win it all?
The viewers.
Oh, boo.
With content as good as this, how could they not?
Which one of these is this? I don't have a boo. Just put you on crickets. I think one of the top 4 teams will win for sure. I don't think there's any out of the top 4 that are going to take this all the way. I do think there will be some upsets along the way. I think there are some pretty good upsets like this. Like every year, I learned this. Now, I did not research it, but Jay Bates told me that every year in March Madness, a number 12 seed always upsets a number 5 seed. And this year, in this bracket, the number 12 seed could upset the number 5 seed. Room 101 versus Oliva. Not a bad battle there.
Good fight.
I also sitting here looking at Arturo Fuente versus Roma Craft. For me and my palate, I know where I'm going with that. I don't, a number 11 over a number 6. I could see Foundation upsetting My Father. So you all know how we do this every year. I do want to. I want to hear what do you?
Who's going against My Father?
Say what?
Who's going against My Father?
Foundation.
Yeah.
Foundation Cigar, My Father.
You've upset your father so many times. I don't see why Foundation couldn't.
Boo.
Well.
Mac Bergson trying to get brownie points over there, saying I'd say the First Lady is the big winner every evening.
I love Mac Bergson.
Mr. Bougie, my foot. I bought him a Fuente cigar, and he's calling me Mr. Bougie. Freaking Gen Xers, man. Old boomers.
Now, you know what's bougie?
What is bougie?
When you can take your cigar and you can sit it down without having to pick it up, and it just attaches itself to anything that is fair.
I didn't see you had it.
Yourself one today by going and looking at Stogie Sleeve. That's right. I actually saw it on the YouTubes or on whatever, some little advertisement, and I reached out to him. I said, "Hey, I want to find out about this thing." And so it's got a little magnet, and it just sticks right there, just like that. Pretty cool. I like it a lot. Now, it is kind of hard getting the thing to slide on there, but it didn't tear the wrap or anything. So I would have thrown it away. I would have thrown this little sleeve thing away if it did. But decent price point. Interesting. First time I've tried it. So
Charles Adamson, yes, the AI did come up with the seating. Aside from a couple of shuffle arounds that I did on my own. I bought it like 2 weeks ago, by the way. anyways, Charles Adams, yes, ChatGPT did create the seating aside from a couple shuffle arounds that I did myself. I asked it not to include any Cuban brands because when I first asked it, it was like, what brands do you want to do? Do you want to do like Cohiba and Monte Cristo and all this? I was like, yeah, no. Let's do brands that I feel my audience has complete access to. Now, obviously, I do feel like there are probably some brands on here that might be a little harder to get for people around. I know not every lounge carries Perdomo.
Yes, but if they can see this video, if they can see this show, they have the ability to get these.
Right.
I mean,
Roman Craft's not in a lot of retailers. Dunbar Tobacco and Trust is actually not in a lot of retailers either. I know it's, for the most part, like anytime that, we over here on the East Coast pop into a cigar lounge, there's a really good chance that there's Dunbar Tobacco and Trust. But to my knowledge, there's only 2 retailers in the upstate of South Carolina who carry a lot of Dunbar Tobacco and Trust, if not any Dunbar Tobacco and Trust. And I know that Steve Saka has said that keeping a smaller footprint is kind of sort of the name of the game right now, because he's not a 1-man band operation, but they're like a 10-man band operation, something like that. And so you definitely don't want to work yourself, and I mean, the man's busy. I will say I did actually get a hold of Steve Saka today. Hold on.
Oh, crap. Wow. Well, while Chief is busy doing whatever Chief is doing, let me set my cigar down and show you what a friend of mine gave me today or this week. It is a 3D printed skull ashtray. And so I liked it so much, I thought that y'all might like it too. So I asked him if he can make one like this, but have it have a banner across the bottom that would say Bob the Cigar Guy, Chief, the First Lady, and how much it would be to buy them in quantities so that we could put these in your house as well. What do you think about that, Chief? You ain't seen it.
I haven't seen it. Is it
Oh my God!
Put it in my hand next time. It's right there. Right there.
Jeez. Good thing I didn't drop my cigar. Of course, that's because I have a stogie sleeve on my cigar, and it's magnetic, and it will hold right to my microphone.
That's funny. I wonder if he would need to change the filament to something else, though. I wonder
I've
how.
had 3D printed ones like that, and they don't burn. And number 2, you don't put your lit part of the cigar on any ashtray.
So all right. If we were gonna, so here's my immediate critique.
Go
It's
full
not
screen so they can see it while you're talking.
okay. So I mean, I was just gonna tell you this, but so yeah, we'll do that because I'm on fancy cam here. So this is the aforementioned Bob Sierra ashtray that he's talking about here. It's a 3D printed skull on brick 4 cigar holder ashtray. My immediate problem is
It's small.
In order to get this thing to sit on here, I've got to branch it.
Yeah.
And now it's not acting as an ashtray; it's just acting as a cigar rest, which is a very cool cigar rest. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not really cool. It is really cool. So it would need to have a bigger. You could only use this once you get down to the second half of your cigar. Unless you wanted to, and I'm not going to do it because it's yours. I don't even know if you could stick a cigar in there and it's not still going to fall out.
If it's a 6-inch cigar, it probably would.
It's really cool though. Here you go, Bob. See how I just handed that right into your hand?
No, I handed it into his hand, but he didn't grab it. He also made a cute little cigar rest.
That's cool.
Right.
I like a cigar rest, man. I use a cigar rest at work all the time instead of thanks. I actually really like that. a lot.
You can have it.
So it's like we have something kind of sort of like this at the desk at the shop. It's metal, but it's also knurled, kind of like that. Very light. I feel like that would travel really well. I like that. That's pretty cool. That actually works really well as a cigar rest. So yeah, it'd be a cool thing. I would say probably need to make it a little bigger. At least the top of it, right? So let's see. Let's get to the top here. Do one of these numbers. All right. So again, we're gonna try to do these, the same way that we've done all of them. It's gonna be by popular vote. Let me get my notes tab open over here so I can keep because I'm not as fancy as Cigar Dojo where I can just have the comments. I am so jealous of Jordan that he has found a way to do that. So 1 and 2.
I tell you what, fancy works though, like this stogie sleeve, where I can sit my cigar down here and I can
getting paid every time you say it.
Count if I had to do any counting at all. I could hold the box up in front of the screen that would say something like stogie sleeve on it. I mean, it's right. Look at that right
so
there.
Just vote based, you don't have to wait, vote based off of your wallet. If you want to just vote based off of how you enjoy those cigars, vote how you enjoy those cigars. For me, I'm gonna go Padron because I have more access to Padron right now. One of my favorite cigars of the year right now, though, is a Padron. It's a Tatuaje. So I'm going Padron. Bob Cigar, where are you going?
I'd go Padron.
Bob Cigar is also going Padron. So Jimmy Fincher is where we're going to start this.
By the way, you said that you had talked to Steve Saka today, and you got trying to get
started. So I did get a hold of Steve Saka today, and we did get the PCA time slot confirmed on day one. Day one is now completely and totally booked out.
Nice.
Matt Berger is Tatuaje. Jay Bates is Padron. Brett Kelly is also Tatuaje. Oh, my fingers are too fat for this. Bob Ellis is also on the Tat ground. Sean Crowley, Banker John, Michael Carter are also all on Padron. I think Michael Carter, you already voted, right? Nope. Make sure you only vote once per round, please. So that's 10-5. I guess technically there could be a comeback, but for sake of ease of show, we will move Padron on here. So Padron moves. Then we've got the battle of the middle, right? Perdomo versus Plasencia. I don't know the last time I smoked a Perdomo cigar. I don't know if I've ever smoked a Perdomo. So I'm going Plasencia here. No, it's not even a contest for me. So I'm going Plasencia. Bob Cigar, which way are you going?
Same.
Plasencia as well. So Matt Brugger is on Plasencia. Woo! We got some Perdomo fans in here. Good night. I had no idea. 1, 2 Perdomo. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the Plasencia. Then Brett Kelly coming in with Perdomo. So Perdomo's not going out without a fight. Actually, I thought Perdomo would go out without a fight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plasencia runs away with that one. What's your favorite Plasencia, Bob the Cigar Guy?
The Alma de Cielo.
The Alma de Cielo. So that's going to be a fun little Plasencia Padron. The PP brothers.
I hope they're going to have another Alma de 6-sided cigar at
like the Sixtos
at PCA. Yeah. The only problem is they only give you one.
Didn't let me see. Didn't Placencia issue? Nope, that was the fire at the farm.
Did you see that thing I sent you, that email from that German company?
You didn't send me the German engineered cigars one. You sent me the Fratello one today.
Yeah, I sent you German engineered late, I think.
No, I got the German engineered cigar.
I want to go there just to see it, because it's in like blister packs, like Tylenol, right? And I want to see it. I want to see if they did a good job making it kind of goofy. And I'm going to ask them about humidity. Would that be basically a tubo, but as a blister pack? Kind of interesting. I don't know how a cigar tastes, but the packaging's dope.
Yeah, you sent me the Fratello one.
Mm-hmm.
It is in a little blister pack. That's cool. I'll have to.
And the press release says it's got even little warnings. This may cause moments of peace and blah 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 blah, and it sounds like a gitchy packaging, but I think it's kind of fun. So
that's fun.
Hopefully, it's a good cigar.
But yeah, we've got the full first day of PCA booked out now. The first full day is starts off with the Davidoff party, which is cool. Then we have the Davidoff interview, which I'm assuming at the Davidoff interview we will also get Camacho, Zeno, and Avo, along with Davidoff. I hope, because I've only booked the 1 hour with them.
That's gonna be that's gonna be a hard 1 hour.
Then we're there at 9:30 to start off with the party, so there's a chance that we may be able to peel off and start a little early if need be. So at 11 a.m. we've got Deep Sea Cigar Coup. Then at 12 we have Drew Estate. At 1 o'clock we have Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. 2 o'clock Stolen Throne. 3 o'clock Pastania. 4 o'clock Adventura, and 5 o'clock Natura Cigar. On Sunday we start off the day with Foundation. Then we go to Black Label. Then go to JC Newman. Then we go to West Tampa. Then we've currently got the 1 o'clock hour open. And then at 2 o'clock, we have AJ Fernandez. And then the 3, 4, and 5 o'clock hour are open at the moment. Those will probably be closed soon, within the next week, hopefully. And then on Monday at 10:30 in the morning, we have Roma Craft. And 12 o'clock, we have Aganorsa Leaf at the moment. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 slots open, 15 slots filled. So pretty cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep. So 16 slots filled because we have the Davidoff party. So, all right. Without further ado, let's come on down here to, this is going to be an easy one. Drew Estate versus Alec Bradley. I do love Alec Bradley. There are some cigars from Alec Bradley that I really do enjoy. But Drew Estate is my first love. So I'm going DE. Bob, I'm tracking you down for DE as well. That seems like a pretty no-brainer in my...
Pretty dang much.
Supremo Tobacco says Drew Estate. Rick Carroll, Drew Estate. Michael Carter, Drew Estate. Gary Sanchez, Drew Estate. Brett Kelly, Drew Estate. Cigar Pop, DE4L. Matt Brucker, Drew. Bob Ellis is voting way ahead of time. Jeremy Fincher, Drew Estate. Fireborn, Drew Estate. That is a clean sweep. Dang. Sorry, Alec Bradley. You do make good cigars. I promise. Now we're going to come over here to the Oliva versus Room 101. I know what my boy Jamie would vote, or have me vote for him. And he would go the Oliva. I'm kind of torn here because I don't love a lot of Oliva, and I also don't love a lot of Room 101. And I like Oliva and I like Room 101. But I will say that JT10, what a cigar, man. So for that reason, I'm going to go Room 101. Bob Cigar, which way are you going?
It's Boofy for the win.
It's Boofy, baby. Here we go. Michael Zakovic with the single Oliva. So they're not getting skunked. Cigar Pop also with Oliva, J Bates, and my boy Supremo Tobacco with the Room 101 Love. Charles Adamson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Banker John, Mac Bergson, Don Eric with Oliva. 1, 2, 3, 5 to 9. Rick Carroll, Room 101. So that puts it to 10 versus the sole vote, another vote for Oliva from Gary Zanstra. Tell us you've had a reach around from Mad Without Time. I have not.
I neither.
Now,
Laureen, maybe.
I will say, out of those two companies, only one of their creative directors came to our shop to come greet me in person. And that's Matt Booth himself. Brian, who told you our secrets? So Room 101 moves on. So that is the first half of the gauntlet down. It is now Room 101 versus Placencia, and then Padron versus Placencia, Drew Estate versus Room 101. Do we have so the 12 beat the 5. Jay Bates.
That's funny.
It continues. The 12 beats the 5. Although a little closer than I had anticipated it being. I honestly thought Room 101 was going to run away with that, kind of like True Estate ran away with it over Alex Bradley. Now this one's this one's the fun one. Stop it. Pop up. Are you enjoying our app? Yes. Would you like to rate it? No. Arturo Fuente versus the Roma Craft. I think it's the first time that you and I, Bob Cigar, are going to differ from one another.
Absolutely.
So you're going Roma Craft.
Absolutely not.
So you're going Arturo Fuente. I'm going Roma Craft. Let's see. These lips don't share. Wait a second. Hold on. There we go. So Michael Carter starting us off with the Arturo Fuente, of course. So 2 Fuentes. Doot, doot. And then a Roma. Doot. And then a Fuente. Rick Carroll says Arturo Fuente, but I do love the Neanderthal. Oh man, you guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. Robert, thank you, brother, coming alongside with me. Fuente, and then Roma. Fuente, and then a Roma. Fuente. 6. Cheers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then another. Yay, we got to 5. 5 to 14. Darn. Sorry. That was a hard battle. That was always going to be a tough one. Whoever got put up against Fuente was always going to be a struggle, unless it would have been, down in the later rankings. So Arturo Fuente moves on. Then we've got AJ Fernandez versus Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust. Bob and I are probably going to agree here again.
Absolutely. AJ for the win.
Oh, Bob went AJ.
I mean, Dunbarton for the win.
You see, I already locked you in. You're already locked in, Bob. Whoa. You guys are so fast.
It's done.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's done.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got to make sure everybody's votes count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another AJ, Sean Crowley coming in. And then we got we got 16. Hey, Mac Berkson coming in with the AJ Fernandez love. Banker John adding to the beating of Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust over AJ Fernandez. So that's going to be a fun one. That's a good fight right there. That might be, I don't know, there's many people who voted Arturo Fuente. I think that's going to be a nice little fight right there. So far we have Padron moving on, Placencia moving on, Drew Estate, Room 101, Arturo Fuente, and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Out of those 6 so far, Bob the Cigar, who do you think takes it out of those 6?
Ooh. I can comfortably believe that Drew Estate, Fuente, and Dunbarton are going to, well, they're not going to be able to make it because Fuente and Dunbarton are fighting against each other. But those will be the 3 that I would have expected to make it. There's another one that I think would make it in the top 4, but I'm not gonna mention it until the votes are cast because I don't want to. I don't want to
sway the opinions of people.
Right.
You did in your Cigar Dojo thing.
You mean the one that got that beat out Half Wheel and Developing Pallets and Cigar Coop? The one.
I'm just bringing it to the fact that there was
vindicated all YouTube reviewers across the land. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, you did influence it.
I did what I had to do.
But you're an influencer, so I guess that counts. Drew Estate has so much to offer; it's hard not to pick them, and that's another thing too. Is just the brand diversity that Drew Estate offers. It is hard to compete with that.
I talked about it on the video today, and I'm going to pose a question to you. The video drops on Tuesday. But I was talking about Drew Estate is the company, in my opinion. There are some companies that have flavor profiles for everybody. There are some. And I said Drew Estate has multiples of every last flavor profile in Vitolas and price points and everything else. And so in the video, I said, please watch the video. Don't just say, well, I heard it here, so I got to watch. The question I posed was, is there another company that is more diversified, more balanced in their portfolio with more offerings than Drew Estate? I can't think of one. It's an honest question. Chief, can you think of one? I mean, I haven't talked about Scandinavian. I talked about, I can't think of one.
I'd say I don't think it's okay. So I can't say it's not fair. I'm trying to think of how to word this, because originally I was going to say, well, it's not really fair to put Drew Estate up against everybody else because Drew Estate dabbles in the non-traditional game, but it's not like everybody else doesn't have the opportunity to do it. Now it'd be atypical of Padron, right, to release a flavored lineup of cigars, right? It would be, I would imagine it's probably atypical of Fuente to release a series of non-traditional cigars.
Well, even if you took non-traditional out, I believe that Drew Estate has more choices than any other manufacturer out there.
If you take the non-traditional cigars out of it, I think it's a lot closer than what you're saying. I don't think you can say it's not even close. And all of this is built off of the 8 months that I've been working at a cigar shop, right? I'm physically looking at the humidor in my head right now, and I'm taking out the infused non-traditional cigar lineup that Drew Estate has. And we have other brands that take up just as much retail space, if not more, than what Drew Estate has to offer. Now, not every Drew Estate retailer and has the ability to bring 100% of Drew Estate's non-traditional, to bring out Drew Estate's whole traditional portfolio, right? It's a tiered system, and every company's got some sort of tiered system, and so not every Drew Estate retailer can carry 100% of Drew Estate's stuff, right? They don't have enough shelf space. They don't sell enough cigars. There's a whole lot of see Mac Berkson. There's a whole lot of other other levels that you can't attain by just being a cigar shop that has cigars in it, right? Some companies, I think you're allowed to just buy whatever you want to buy. And then some companies, you are limited to what you can buy. And I'll say, when it comes to Drew Estate with what we offer, and we're not the highest tier that Drew Estate has to offer, what we have we have a great selection of Drew Estate, from Liga 9, T52, H99, all the way down. We don't have Liga 10, we don't have L40, we don't have Farrell, we don't have Pappy Van Winkle. I'm not sure if we can, what are those things that we can get or not. But our Fuente selection is bigger than our Drew Estate selection. Our Padron,
there's got to be 15 different Ligas, at least, Liga Unicos, at least. And I would lean more towards 20. There are 6 Deadwood Sisters. There are 4.
Again,
Herreras.
we're taking out the non-traditionals. No, there's 2 Herreras now. Just 2. Herrera Habano and Herrera Brazil.
Then you've got your Blackened line, both of those. You've got you've got the Undercrown line. You've got the
you got a lot of lines. You got Nica Rustia, right? You have, well, again, that's non-traditional, so we're still forming them out.
Pappy,
right? There's a lot, but there's also a lot of Fuente. There's a lot of Padron. There's a lot of Foundation. I mean, just visualize walking in the humidor at the shop right now, and our Dumbarton selection is not as big. I'm not going to count the lounge exclusives that Drew Estate does. So, you talk about some of the Unicos. not every lounge can get 100% of those Unicos. Actually, I don't think there's one lounge that can get 100% of Unicos normally.
I'm just talking about every line a manufacturer would have. Every
I think it's a lot closer.
Blend.
I think it's a lot closer than you saying it's not even close. Now,
I'll ask somebody at PCA, because that's an interesting question.
If you add in the non-traditional lines, it's not even close, because now you've added in 10 acid lines, 2 tobacco lines, 2 Isla del Sol lines, 6 Deadwood lines. I mean, you've added in, almost 25 new lines if you add in the non-traditional stuff. And that's where I would say, it's probably not even close. But when I look at our humidor at the shop, the Drew Estate section, the Foundation section, the Padron section, the My Father section, the Alec Bradley section, the Fuente selection, in the Padron section that we have, they're all pretty close. I mean, actually, my father has a lot of cigars too.
My father does have a lot of cigars, but I just think that Drew Estate just is far and away the most diverse portfolio and the largest selections.
There, I would say, just off of guess, even taking out the equation of non-traditional cigars, I think it's easy to say you could easily say, Drew Estate's one of the biggest. I don't think you can easily say Drew Estate is the biggest. I think that's where it would come down to, okay, now we need to actually go do some metadata research and see what lines are available and what not. Because again, like with Fuente, you got to think there too. There are brands within Fuente that you can't rep at a cigar shop unless you have connections with Prometheus. Prometheus gets you all the God of Fire stuff.
God of Fire, right?
And then
Which
there's
just is an people don't like you when you say this, but I don't think God of Fire is that great.
I have had one got a fire, and I think it was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the price point is it's a good cigar, but it doesn't justify the price point.
I think so. There's the I can't remember what it's called off of the top of my head. There's a Fuente group. They have a special limited cigar, and the only way that you can get it is if you're a part of something with Ellie Blue. I'm having a hard time remembering the name of that collection. But like, if you had all of those, I mean, Fuente is now barking up the tree of having just as many brands as probably Drew Estate with the non-traditional brands. There's a lot out there. So I don't think it's as easy as just saying, oh, it's Drew Estate and it's not even close. Now, if you take out the non-traditional, when you add in the non-traditional stuff, I think Drew Estate is the best brand to suggest for somebody because there's something for everybody.
Agreed.
If you're somebody who's trying to find a sweet cigar that's infused, I'm not pointing them to Fuente. I'm not pointing them to Padron. I'm not pointing them to Alec Bradley. I'm not pointing them to my father. You can point them to Foundation because Foundation has the upsetters. You can also point them to Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust because Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust has the Stillwell series. You could point them to Oliva because Oliva has a couple nubs that have sweet tips on them. But by and far large, it's easily Drew Estate's the first company you point to. And this is coming from somebody who works in a cigar lounge 5 days a week who gets these questions every single week. All right. Let's come down here and finish off the first round. So Davidoff also has a large collection as well. I didn't think we don't have a large collection of Davidoff because you've got to have a huge amount of space to have the Davidoff collection. But here I'm actually going to go La Flor Dominicana. I have really enjoyed a lot of the La Flor Dominicana cigars that we've brought into the lounge here recently. What say you, Bob, the cigar guy?
Now, Davidoff, are you talking about the whole Davidoff family or just Davidoff?
No, just Davidoff.
Well, with LFD, I haven't had one in forever, the Chisel.
Yeah.
The Andalusian Bull is one of my all-time favorites with that Solomon. The red one, I forget what it's called, the second of the Andalusian Bulls. I love that cigar as well. The Lennox is great. But Davidoff, that Chef's Blend was amazing. Year of the Horse was amazing. You pick up a Davidoff, here's something different. It's a Davidoff experience. I'm not big on the Churchill or the Late Hour, but I'd have to lean into to Davidoff just because I can only pick 2 or 3 from LFD that I would like, and I can pick up handfuls of Davidoff that I would really, really dive into. So I'm going Davidoff.
This is pretty even here.
Yeah.
Davidoff 3. LFD 2. Davidoff 1 more. So Davidoff is currently winning by 2. Pablo says Camacho over both of them for me, though.
That Camacho's good stuff.
That's a close fight.
Davidoff to me is a lot like Drew Estate in a way because Davidoff, the parent company, instead of them just doing like Drew Estate did, where they have all different brands within a brand, they said, okay, we're going to have different experiences. We have the Davidoff, we have the Avo, we have the Zeno Nicaragua, we have the Baccarat.
Also, out of Zeno today, Zeno just released the Zeno Honduras today. The press release for the Zeno Honduras is coming out at PCA this year. semi-flow with a
There's
little
a lot of new cigars coming out this year from big companies. I've been catching those emails, and they're not putting out ones; they're putting out 2s, 3s, and 4s, new blends.
So this is 9 to 8 right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you're up to 28.
I see that organically at that. So if you haven't voted, please do vote. If you have voted, please don't vote again because I'm not going back and looking through that. Also,
unless you're voting for Davidoff, he's not counting. He's go ahead and throw Davidoff on there.
Where
Cigar Pop for the win.
Where are there? Did you remove the? Oh no, here they are. If you are watching over on YouTube, do hit the like and subscribe. Or hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you're over on Facebook, do hit the like. Share this to your favorite cigar group. If you're not following the page, do follow the page. Also want to give a shout out to our show sponsors, Drew Estate Cigar and Natura Cigar, making sure that Chief Talk can participate on the airwaves every single week. So it's now 10 to 8.
I took it in the beginning of the show as a compliment that you had me on the bottom, like I'm the foundation, and that all good things grow through me and up. But now I'm noticing that all of the comments, all of the little Facebook and YouTube like things, they cover my face.
Hey, there's 30 people watching, by the way.
Nice.
Welcome in, all 30 of you. If you're that worried about Bob Cigar, I'll put your face at the top if you need. You're such a diva. So PH Miller says, if someone is smoking a sweet tip or infused, please correct their bad behavior and put them on the path to good cigars. And while I am primarily a traditional cigar smoker, I smoke 9 times out of 10, I am smoking a traditional cigar. I'm not going to sit here and dog on sweet tip or infused cigars either, because one, while that is not what got me into the cigar smoking world, it is something that kept me in the cigar smoking world for a little while. One of my first favorites, not my first favorite, but one of my first favorites was the Kentucky Fire Cured cigar. And that is a non-traditional cigar in all sense of the means. Even the sweet version, not just a sweet version, but just, it's infused with. Whoa. Came out of nowhere. Sorry about that. That's
here's the science that burps sink because I didn't smell that being above you. So
that's funny. All right, so Davidoff won that by 1 point.
Wow,
that was close. And then we're going to come down here to my father versus Foundation Cigar Company. I feel like Bob, you and I are both going to be Foundation here.
Absolutely.
Foundation, has been a staple.
That's a good fight because my father's got some bangers.
No, my father's got some really good cigars, especially with that blue that came out with.
Right.
The Judge has always been big.
Fantastic.
The Florida, the Antigüedad, Florida Leontias, the JJ 20th or 25th, I think is what it was. Don Pepin Garcia. I spoke to Don Pepin Garcia on the way over here today. It wasn't my favorite cigar, but it was an okay cigar. Let's see. All right, so 1, 2 for Foundation, 1 for my father. A man of the people. So I didn't finish off my statement. I'm not going to dog anybody who smokes sweet tip or infused cigars. Absolutely not. While I prefer traditional cigars, I love, diving into a leather rose, or some of Kentucky Fire Cured. Again, I smoked. That was the first cigar I smoked today. Was a Kentucky Fire Cured small one. I know Bob's a big fan of the plush. I like the plush as well. Nothing wrong with that. Now I do steer people away from the upsetters. I think they're
Upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of the upsetters at all. Again, you get into the Stillwell series from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. The winter selection nub from Oliva, that's really good.
The Rocky Patel,
The Javas.
the Java Mint. I love that cigar.
1, 2 more for my father. And then we've got Foundation here.
Page Miller says
2,
foundation
3,
is foundation. True.
3.
Nick Melillo is a master.
Another my father. And then 1, 2, 3.
And I don't know if y'all out there watch YouTube a lot, but if you go to Nick Melillo's older videos when he was with Drew Estate, he sits in the fields and he talks about tobacco. And it's just amazing to hear him talk about tobacco. I mean, this stuff is probably 10, 12 years old, but it still is solid information. And it's interesting.
Yeah, and this is another. For me, this isn't hard. I love Foundation through and through. If you put up Foundation's top 10 cigars and you put up my father's top 10 cigars, Foundation, and I have to choose the top 10 out of those 20 cigars, Foundation is probably going to be 8 or 9 of those 10.
Agreed.
The My Father Blue probably makes it into the top 3, maybe top 4 of all time against my all time Foundation love. But I'm willing to say that the JJ 25th anniversary probably makes it into the top 10 as well. So I'd say 8 of the 10 out of those 20 would be Foundation cigars.
And sadly, my favorite Foundation's not there anymore. The Wise Man Maduro, the Owawensa, the original. That joker is a great friend. Sent me like 10 of them as a gift, just kind of out of the blue. And I look at them all the time, and I want to smoke them. And that is when I'm really just stopping, slowing down, and just paying attention. I want to celebrate something. I don't even want to think about things. I just want to have a moment, and I want that cigar to punctuate that. And that's when I pull that out and smoke it, because it is just. And I think about the guy who sent it to me. He's freaking amazing. But that cigar, I know I'll never get it again. And so I meter those out extremely tightly.
All right, so we're now on to round 2. Padron versus Plasencia, Drew Estate versus Room 101, Arturo Fuente versus Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, and Davidoff versus Foundation. Based on how the 2 votes went between Fuente and Roma Craft and AJ and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, both of those were heavy landslides between Fuente and Dunbarton. I expect that to be a nice,
good fight,
tough little battle right there. So we'll start at we'll go back to the top because we just did those 2 most recent. So Padron versus Plasencia. I'm going to go Plasencia just based off the fact that I have smoked more different Plasencia than I have Padron. I'm getting into Padron now, working at a cigar shop where our owner is a humongous Padron fan, and we have a large selection of them. My favorite Padron is one of my most favorite cigars in the whole entire world, the 1964 number 4, that big 6x60 box press. I love that cigar. It's really freaking good. Plasencia, though, Almafuerte has been a really big fan of. I've been a big fan of Almafuerte for a long time. Alma de Cielo, really good as well. So I'm going to go Plasencia here. Bob Cigar, I assume you are as well.
It feels weird that we are agreeing so much. But yeah, Plasencia would be the way I go.
Let's come over here to the people.
But it looks like Padron is knocking him down.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jeez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then Placencia. And then 1, 2, 3 for Padron. Another Placencia over here. You know, I almost went Padron, but I didn't. Should have. 1, 2, and 1. And then one more for Placencia. So 12-7 at the moment. I don't know. There is a lot more Placencia being smoked at our lounge than there is, Padron than there is being smoked of Placencia. I think we carry 6 Placencia and probably, I don't know, 26 Padron. But again, our owner is a humongous Padron fan, so we do carry a lot of those. There's a lot more versatility with Padron over Placencia. You know, we go back to that debate about, you know, who has the most versatile cigar collection on the market right now. And I did say earlier that I thought Padron was one of the companies that you could put up there to fight a lot, you know, fight your estate for space. But the people have spoken. You know, Padron going. The number 1 seed moves on. This, I think, is going to be a blowout. I already know what you're going to vote, Bob Cigar Guy.
Yeah.
I think most people are probably going to go with True Estate over Room 101. PH Miller says that's sad. Placencia makes so many other brands and sells so much great tobacco that it's hard to choose. But 4 of the Padrones are in my top 20 list and have been for decades. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's 100% True Estate over 101.
Landslide.
I don't even have to tally up on that one. So that's a good fight. I mean, we're going to go ahead and put to the test, right? The idea of, you know, does having more cigars translate into being the better brand? So the 2 top. Well, I guess not the 2 top because it was number 2 in this one. Oh no, 2's down here. Yeah.
Here's the thing between those two. You can have a Padron experience at your estate, right? They have the Ligas. They have the Unicos.
Ooh, that's some fighting words. That's some fighting words with Padron boys, man.
You can't have a Drew Estate experience at Padron.
Ooh.
Sorry. Facts is facts.
I mean, that's pretty hostile. Don Eric came in with the single 101. I don't know. You know, I don't know. Padron, basically for me, Padron is Drew Estate Undercrown and up. They don't go below the Undercrown line.
Right. So you really can't have a Drew Estate experience encapsulated in the Padron line, but the Drew Estate line could encapsulate all of Padron.
I agree with you when you say that you can't smoke a Padron and have a Drew Estate experience. I agree with that because, again, Padron doesn't have anything to match Acid or to match, you know, the Deadwood line, right? But some people don't care.
I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree because if you just love Padron, for God's sakes, smoke trombone. Smoke trombone.
Smoke your trombone.
Yeah, smoke your trombone. But you know, I like steak, but I also like subs. I also like grilled chicken. I also like lasagna. And sometimes I don't want steak. With Padron, you're going to have Padron and Padron and Padron and Padron and Padron. With Drew Estate, you're going to have all sorts of different facets, which are totally different experiences within that portfolio that they carry.
Yeah.
And they do that intentionally. I think Padron does what Padron does intentionally.
Yeah. Would you take what do you think is Drew Estate's best cigar? What is your favorite Drew Estate cigar? Traditional cigar?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. It changes.
Okay, so give me your top 3.
All right, so the Pappy,
Okay.
under the Liga 10,
Okay.
and the Leather Rose. If I had to only have 3 cigars to smoke from Drew Estate, but I love the tobacco. I love the Norteño, which they don't have anymore.
So you take a Leather Rose over an H99?
No,
I'm not asking you to build.
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
I would because I love an H99. I didn't even think about an H99 to be honest, because there's so many things to choose from. That's the thing about Drew Estate.
So that's
hard
what I'm trying to get here. The exercise that I'm trying to get here is, okay, I'm not asking for you to build your day of cigars. I just like if you had to go on an island, right, and there were 3 cigars to choose from Drew Estate, you can only choose one of them to be your only cigar for the rest of the time that you're on that island, which is going to be 20 years, right? You're gonna put Leather Rose in that possible lineup to pick from, because if I'm doing it, I'm gonna go H99 Robusto, L40, and probably the Feral.
No, I would if I only had 3 cigars to smoke for 20 years, Leather Rose would be one, because sometimes
no. You only get one.
Oh, then that's the Pappy Van Winkle, because I can smoke it as far as to only get 2 totally different experiences.
Okay. Are you willing to put that up against say that is better than 100% of Plasencia cigars?
Padron
cigars? Are you willing to say that the Pappy Van Winkle is better than 100% of Padron cigars?
If I was stranded on a desert island for 20 years, only had 1 cigar, and I got to choose a manufacturer, Padron would not be in my top 10.
That's not the question, though.
Yeah, but you're asking me apples and oranges. First, you ask me what would I have on a desert island, and you say, is that 1 cigar better than every Padron?
So what I'm trying to get here is your original statement was Plasencia can't do what Padron doesn't. Okay, shut up. Padron can't do what Drew Estate does, but Drew Estate can do what Padron does. And I'm not sure if that's as clear cut easy as what you're saying, because yeah, Padron can do top, and Padron can top premium, and Drew Estate can do top premium, and Drew Estate can do infused, right? Best infused in the world. Padron can't. I don't know why I'm having such a freaking hard time going between the two of them. There's Michael Wagner. Yeah, I told him to shut up. He's making fun of me. I'm going to get to this comment in just a second. But you were saying, Drew Estate can do what Padron can do. Padron can't do what Drew Estate can do. That's really pissing me off, man.
Padron can't do what Drew Estate can do. Drew Estate can encompass Padron. Padron cannot encompass Drew Estate.
But I think I don't know if it's just as clear cut to say that Padron can do what Plasencia can do either, because
you just said Padron can't do what Plasencia.
Jesus Christ, man.
You got Plasencia on the brain.
My brain is so screwed up right now. I don't know why I can't get over this stupid Plasencia Padron. I had Basil Hayden, Michael.
I'm gonna tell him at PCM. We say, he's been wanting to come to this booth so much he can't quit using your name. He uses it for other companies, for God's sakes. I'm gonna do that. That's hilarious.
Oh, and it's screwing me up because I'm trying to get this thought out, and and you're just waiting on me to mess up, and I can't even make
not
a
hard. I don't have to wait
reasonable
long.
argument here because I'm self-defeating myself over here. This segment is sponsored by
And Natura Cigars.
That's funny. Oh man, you made me rub my eye because I'm crying from laughing and my eyes in the water. Padron can compete with the top of Drew Estate. They obviously don't compete with the infused line because Padron doesn't have an infused line. Neither does Placencia, but Padron doesn't have the infused line. But I don't know if you can. I don't know if you could put the Liga line, because obviously with Drew Estate, Liga is top. That is the premier of Drew Estate. I don't know if you can put the whole of the Liga line of Drew Estate up against Padron's entire line. I don't know if you can do that because Padron, for the most part, is Undercrown and up of Drew Estate. Because Padron has the 2,000, 4,000, 7,000, right? Those are the entry level Padron cigars. But Padron has the 1926, 1948, or 1964, the 50th anniversary, the PBs. You know, the top tier of Padron is higher than the top tier of Drew Estate. Now,
I don't know if I agree with that.
Pay wise, Drew Estate doesn't have
price wise. You mean price wise?
Yes, price wise. Drew Estate doesn't have any U.S. cigars that are $30 or more. Padron
depends on where you go.
Well, just normal across the board. Let's play East Coast, Southeast Coast, right? Padron's, Drew Estate are in the Liga Privada line are in the upper teens to mid 20s spot, right? Padron 20 is like, aside from the 2, 4, and 7,000 series, 20 is the floor.
Yeah, but just because it costs more doesn't mean it is more.
Now, that is true. I agree.
And now, I know this is not apples to apples, oranges to oranges, but secondary market, Drew Estate has some cigars that they do not sell that are event only cigars. The Liga A,
right?
I've seen that sold for $200.
Yeah,
the Manifesto, $150.
Right.
But
I'm talking general MSRP in the lounge that you can go and you can buy both of those brands from right now. Padron has multiple
higher price points,
$28 cigars and up.
But I think you can have a Padron. You can put Padrones and Ligas side by side, in my opinion, flavor wise, construction wise. I think that you could pull out, and they would parallel. Now, people's flavors profiles are a little different, but still,
right.
But so Drew Estate, in my statement, could basically parallel everything a Padron. Padron cannot parallel everything at Drew Estate.
And that is a factual statement in the sense that Drew Estate offers so much more than Padron does. And so
my original thought.
Well, your original thought was
Padron can't be a Drew Estate experience.
Padron can't do DE, but DE can do everything that Padron can. I think you do get into the wheats and tares there because of what Padron offers at a much higher dollar amount.
But the important question that I have to ask you is, how much did Placencia pay you for this episode? I mean, we were talking about, the little cute Gitsy thing I had, and I talked about it, but you done mentioned Placencia like 75 times.
I got better at the end there. I got better at the end there. Okay, I did get better as we went on.
I mean, I don't mind a big sponsor.
So Michael Wagner, this is a comment I wanted to come back to. Said, why would they need anything like an acid? Padron is consistent. Drew Estate is not. I do like the Ligas, but would still choose a Padron over it. And I don't think Padron needs an acid. I don't think either of us would shout that Padron needs an acid. They
That's
don't
not
need
their business model.
Right. Padron's business model is very much the Davidoff model.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Where Fuente, they do have a handful of cigars that are in the happy budget category. Padron and Davidoff, because I almost said Placencia, they are very much, and I would even lump in Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust,
Monte Cristo.
They're very much I don't want to call them snobs, but without
affluent.
They're rich boys.
Absolutely. Look, Davidoff's got the Oro.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, now you're paying a ton. All right.
But then Berka's got His Majesty's Reserve for $795.
All right. So speaking of Arturo Fuente, let's go ahead and get into this. Arturo Fuente versus Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Both of us are going Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust here.
Absolutely.
We both smoke more of that than any. I prefer Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust over. If we had to do another 10 and 10, you guys are going fast. You guys are ready. If we had to do another 10 and 10, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust is probably taking 8 or 9 out of the top 10 out of
the Rare Pink would be in my 10.
I don't know if Rare Pink would make it in mine. The Templo de Oro.
I love that thing.
You didn't get a chance to smoke Templo de Oro.
No, and the 90th. I like the 90th.
90th was really good.
That 90th was amazing.
So Templo de Oro would probably make it in the top 10 of the top. So if I took 10 of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust and 10 of Fuente, and I have 20 cigars, and now I'm talking about my top 10 out of those. Templo de Oro from Foundation makes it in. The 90 Don Carlos 90 Años Dos Capa makes it in. I did not say Foundation. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Y'all tell him you said Foundation.
I don't think I did. If I did, my brain's been. I got a lot going on. I'm running a show over here. Okay, I'm running a show here
with no wheels.
We're moving, baby. We got 26 people across YouTube and Facebook right now.
It's a drinking game. That's what this is. Every time Steven says a wrong company name, you got to take a shot.
Hey, you're using my government name. Jeez, thanks.
Wrong brand too. I did it too. It's contagious.
I really do like that Añejo Shark a lot too. That Añejo Shark's pretty darn good.
I didn't think the Eye of the Bull was worth the darn.
I wouldn't say. I thought Eye of the Bull was fun because I think Eye of the Bull has a sweet tip on it.
Yeah, but once you cut the eye out of it, it just looks like a regular cigar.
So yeah, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust probably takes 7 out of the top 10 out of 10 and 10 from each company. All right, so 1, 2 for Dunbarton, 1 for Fuente, 1 for Dunbarton, 1 for Fuente, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more for Fuente, 1 yours.
Yes, was what he was saying.
I can't believe I said Foundation.
You did.
That's all right. So Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust beats Placencia. That was a joke. Did it on purpose. All right, and then another quickie here: Foundation versus Davidoff. Bob and I are both going Foundation here as well. Let's hide that current comment. Again, if you took the top 10 from each of these companies, Foundation's getting all 10 spots. I can't think of one Davidoff that beats out.
I would have a couple. I'd have a hard time pulling.
I don't know.
10
Now that
foundations.
you say that, you're not wrong.
I'd have a hard time pulling 10 foundations.
What was that one? What's the one that we got last year in the tubo that had the green Escurio? That's a good cigar. The Davidoff Escurio is pretty darn good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A foundation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One Davidoff. And then 3 more foundation. Yeah, I had a feeling foundation because we've not really done much with Davidoff here on the channel. So our final 4 are Plasencia, and Plasencia, and Plasencia.
That's
so
funny.
I wonder how this is going to go. No big shockers here, at least for my palate, in a sense.
I agree.
I take it back. Well, no, I guess I don't, because Padron beating out Plasencia makes sense. Even though we both voted Plasencia, I am happy to say that like I have just not smoked a ton of Padron. I've never been a big Padron guy, never been a big Fuente guy. I've gotten more into Fuente in the last 8 months than I have Padron. You know, that's also because most of Padron is like $28 and higher.
Right.
Where I can get into the whole Opus line which is like the rare premier line, one of the rare premier lines for Fuente. I can get into that line cheaper than the normal top tier Padrones. So my wallet definitely does affect my buying. So we've got Padron versus Drew Estate. You and I are obviously going Drew Estate here.
Absolutely.
No contest. But it will be interesting to see. We did bring up the Andalusian Bull for La Flor Dominicana, but La Flor Dominicana, they didn't even make it out. They got beat by Davidoff. I voted La Flor Dominicana over Davidoff. I'm not a big fan of the Andalusian Bull, but there are many LFD cigars that I do like. All right, so 1, 2, 3. And then 1 for Padron. 1 more Drew Estate. 1 more Padron. 1, 2 Drew Estate. And then 1 Padron. Another for Drew Estate. Thank you, Gary Zanstra. Yeah, this is... I think the people who are going to vote Padron here are probably primarily Padron heads. If you're not a big Padron fan, you're probably smoking a lot of other brands, and Drew Estate probably makes it into your rotation faster than Padron ever would. 2 more for Padron. Thank you, Michael Wagner.
I know it's funny. It's Drew Estate's going to move on. I pretty much am comfortable with that. And then it is what? Foundation and Dunbarton. So it's all
some sort of DE bloodline,
right? Because Saka was from Drew Estate before he took and did Dunbarton, and Nick Melilla was Drew Estate before he took on Foundation. So that's kind of interesting.
And Bob Ellis, I think that kind of pairs along with what I was just saying is Padron's just such an inexpensive cigar. I mean, again, you can get
cigar.
You can get a $10 Padron, right? The Maduro and the natural, what is it, 2,000? Or 4,000? No, 2,000. 2,000, 4,000, 7,000. The 2000 is like a $10 cigar, and it's actually a pretty dope cigar. The Maduro 2000 is dope. I enjoy. I smoked it the Thursday 2 Thursdays ago when we had the Deep Sea cigar launch before the actual launch happened. I smoked one of the Padron 2000s.
Here's the thing, though, getting that 2000 Padron instead of a Padron, right? Is like going into a high level steakhouse and getting a grilled cheese sandwich, right? You still got the same
Right.
food from there, but you just didn't get the
Right.
experience.
Yeah, you have the receipt.
Went for.
You can tell all your friends that you went to the really expensive, hard to get into restaurant, but you don't want to tell them what you ordered, right?
Right.
And you know, that's a fair shout. I know some people do experience more problems with Drew Estate. I experience the same amount of problems with Drew Estate as I do any other company. Now, again, I don't smoke a lot of Padron, and one of the things that I hear about Padron is there is no better quality standards in Padron, and that's why
it's crazy because we've been to Drew Estate and we've been to the factory, and their quality control is ridiculous.
Well,
now if Padron would like to invite us out, Placencia, Steven can get invited by Placencia, but if Padron wants to invite me out to go check out their quality control, I'll be happy to tell the truth on whatever they show me.
We did get to experience Drew Estate's factory. We did get to see the quality control. I would be curious as to know, I would be curious as to how many cigars. Let's do. Excuse me. How many cigars does I typed in Placencia. Jeez.
Drink, everybody drink.
If you're talking about Padron cigars, they produce only a few million cigars a year, which is actually quite small for the industry. Most commonly cited 3 million cigars per year. Other estimates about 5 to 6 million annually. All right, let's see how many cigars.
I bet Drew Estate makes 1 million cigars a week. 1 million plus.
Let's see.
Cigar pops that I drank so much so far, I'm slurring my typing.
Estimated annual production. And then it says around 95,000 cigars a day.
So 10 days. So 1 month is Padron's year.
34 to 35 million cigars per year. Wow.
And growing. One of the reasons they don't do Cigar Safari anymore is because all the spaces that they had to take everybody and show everybody, they've had to turn that into factory and warehouses. They don't have the experience anymore because there's no room for it because there's such a high demand for the Drew Estate products.
Mike, I'm not arguing with you. I am supporting what you're saying because that is one of the things that I hear is the best about Padron is their quality, consistent quality. With you can smoke a Padron after a Padron after a Padron, and you're going to have the same quality. You're going to have the same burn and draw from cigar to cigar to cigar. And maybe one of the reasons that Padron is doing so well as a company with so few, I'm typing Placencia, is because they're making a tenth, of what Drew Estate's making. So a tenth,
and that's what Jay Bates said. With that much production, you'll have more issues. The math checks out.
So you're 10 times more. So that's kind of crazy. You could be 10 times more likely to have an issue with a Drew Estate than a Padron and still have the same percentage of issues with the overall number of the company. That's kind of crazy to think about that. Math's so fun. All right. So Drew Estate takes that. And then down here to Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust and Foundation. Oh, Now that's the battle, man.
No, I go with Dunbarton. I go with Dunbarton.
I mean, I love Dumbarton. I love Foundation.
I love them both, but I gotta go with Dunbarton.
That's such a fight for me. Because if we go back to all right, take the top 10 from Dumbarton, take the top 10 from Foundation, and you have 20 cigars. How many companies do you have in the top 10 of each? It's probably 5 and 5.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years I did my list. It was a fight between number 1 and number 2 was Foundation and Dunbarton every year. I mean, they've got some of the most amazing blends out there. Senator is still one of my all-time favorites, but Sin Compromiso.
I've learned it's called Senator, by the way.
Is it really?
Senator.
I'm gonna call it Senator, just like I call it Bovita.
It's like I kindly redirect people when they call Patron
Olivia?
Patron.
Oh,
Patron or Olivia.
Olivia.
Yeah. People say, "Oh, you got them Olivia cigars?" Yeah, we got Oliva. You got any of them Patron cigars? Yeah, we got Patron. All right, so 1, 2, 3 for Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust.
I bet this is the hardest fight of the night.
Foundation 1, 2. Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not even close. No, now it's gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Still not really that close. You tell them Padron is pronounced like Placencia. Jerk. You try running a live show and have a thoughtful conversation out loud. Dumbarton for Michael Wagner.
Jay Bates, that's hilarious. I actually told Sarah about that comment. I thought that was, I don't know if that was the best business decision, but it made me laugh. That was funny.
What about putting an S on Drew Estate?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
Somebody commented about the issues from last night's ticket sales. Yeah. And they said, way to go, Drew Estates. And I mean, they had a pretty bad post. And a member from the Drew Estate family, his whole response was no S. And I was like, oh my God.
It sounds like something.
It was not Will McFall.
It sounds like Rayford.
Yeah, it was.
I know.
I was like, oh my God. That's gonna get some traction.
That's funny. So this is actually, it's 11-8, which isn't really that far. I did not vote because I was gonna have to be I was gonna choose to be the tiebreaker if need be, but I am gonna go Dumbarton. And the reason I go Dumbarton is because my relationship with Steve Stock is better than my relationship with Nick Melillo. But that's a hard battle.
That was the hardest one of the night.
You're looking at two again. You go back to Drew Estate proteges. The fight for Liga 9, the fight for T52. Who created it, right? Who gets the credit for it?
Right. Well, here's the thing. I think DTT and Foundation are parallel, and DTT has done it in a lot less time.
They've both done it the same amount of time.
No, Foundation's not been around 10 years, have they?
Yeah, they had the Foundation 10-year last year.
Uh-oh. I'm not changing my vote. I got to tell you, I'm
they
going to be
both
honest.
Released a cigar last year called the 10th.
No, you're right. I'm going to be honest, though. I was kind of hoping Foundation would win because that would be an easier vote between Drew Estate and Foundation than Drew Estate and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust.
I think it's still a pretty easy vote. I think the vote would have been harder
for me personally.
For me, it's a no-brainer. And again, it kind of goes down to
something for everybody.
Something for everybody versus not. I mean, you've got.
So in other words, Drew Estate could have a complete Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust experience, but Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust could not have a complete Drew Estate experience.
How many cigars does Placencia? Dumbarton. That was a joke. That was a joke.
No, I don't believe you.
I did it on purpose. I did it on purpose.
I don't believe you. I think you just accidentally did it again.
I did it on purpose, you jerk.
That was funny.
For Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust, there isn't an official published annual production number like you see with Drew Estate, but we can still estimate pretty accurately based on how the company operates. Estimated annual production is between 1 and 3 million cigars a year.
A lot of cigars for a small company.
They're upper boutique. Right?
Agreed.
I have heard people call Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust boutique before, and I kind of get offended.
I call them bespoke.
I get offended because I feel like I would not lump Drew Estate in the same, I would not lump Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust in the same conversation as Adventura, Natura, Drunk Chicken Cigars. Like, those are, I guess, number wise, yeah, Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust is boutique in the sense that they're producing, possibly a million cigars a year.
But they're killing the lists.
Where Drew Estate is making 90,000 a day, right? I mean, a third of a month.
Yeah,
and Drew Estate has made everything that Dumbarton Tobacco is going to make. You got 30 times possible. What was the number again? How many cigars did Drew Estate?
I don't know. 4 million.
So you have 30 times the possibility to get a plug cigar than you do a Drew Estate cigar, but that's because they're making 30 times more of the cigars. You could still Drew Estate could be 60 times more likely to make a mistake on a cigar and only be 50% more than what Dumbarton does, right? So for me, I'm going Drew Estate just again because of the total comprehension of it. If you had to, but I will say this: if I had to do if I had the top 10 Drew Estate and the top 10 Dumbarton, Drew Estate's probably taking 6 out of 10.
Fair. That's fair.
Where, the Dumbarton Foundation one was 5 and 5.
I think it depends on my day too. It depends on my day.
I'm just taking my top 10 that I love. My top 10 Drew Estate that I love. But I will say Dumbarton might have more in the top 5. If it was a top 5, it might be a 3-2 situation, Dumbarton.
Here's another thing too you got to think about. Drew Estate has, let's say, 100 different choices. And you're only picking 10 out of there, so that's 10% of their portfolio. Dumbarton doesn't have 20. Well, they might have 20.
They got 20.
Okay, but they don't have 50.
No.
So you have a lot less choices, a lot less opportunities to pick out of that top 10 list. So
all right. So you and I are both going Drew Estate, I assume?
Yeah, absolutely. Just mainly because Drew Estate has something for every moment.
Right.
But I'll grab a Dumbarton so fast.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Dumbarton with Alex Noander. Welcome in, Alex. 1, 2 for DE. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dumbarton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, it's close. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and now it's not close. Yeah, I mean that's such a hard battle.
Who won?
Drew Estate's leading by 5. 12-7. So that's 19 people. There's 20. Yeah, so Drew State wins.
Yeah. Not by blowout.
Not a surprise.
But the Dunbarton Foundation was the best fight of the night.
Was that? I thought there was another one that was pretty close.
There was one close, but nothing like Dunbarton.
What was the close one?
Not Placencia.
What was it? Oh, it was Davidoff LaFleur Dominicana. That was the close one.
You know, this is one of the longest Chief Talks you've had in a while.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to. We've had a couple 2-hour episodes this year so far.
And you haven't even done the stick pick of the week.
I do have one picked out for tonight, though. I don't know if he's still watching, but he was here earlier. Oh, he's still here. Oh no, Wait.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No.
Hold on.
Yeah.
No,
if he is smoking a Placencia in his photo, I'm going to call, foul.
Sammy Flo said, I missed the beginning of the bracket. How did you come up with the companies facing each other? All right. So I went into ChatGPT and I just asked for the top 16. I asked it to create me a bracket with the top 16 cigar companies. There were a few companies that were listed that I did not put on here.
And you added a couple.
Yeah, I can't remember everyone I took off. Rock Patel was one that I took off. La Aurora was one that I took off as well. So we got. I ended up adding in myself Tatawahe, Romacraft,
Dunbarton,
and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Yeah, which I'm glad I put Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust because they made it to the final. What was you had Room 101 upset Oliva, but Room 101 got decimated by Drew Estate. I knew Drew Estate would go far. I think if we had a bunch of Padron fanboys who watched the channel more often, if we were like a half wheel or a cigar aficionado website, I think you would have had a ton of Padron. Yeah, I think if you would have had, it's funny, the number 2 and the number 3 from this round got knocked out, where the number 10 and the 11 made it. So 10 versus 4. So 10 had to beat.
Well, ChatGPT doesn't smoke cigars; they just take numbers.
Well, yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what. I didn't dive into it as to why it selected those companies as the top. I don't think it had anything to do with numbers because it put Room 101 in there. And honestly, on these companies in here, the only company that Room 101 may beat out number-wise, maybe Romacraft?
Maybe.
And that's a strong maybe. I mean, I don't know. So, show sponsor, Drew Estate, gets the win. The fam, the boys down south, we love those guys. And we don't, they didn't win just because they're a show sponsor. They won because you guys chose them. So let's see. Let's get over here. Take this off. In person who did win Stick Pick of the Week is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly, this one that I need. Yes. Switch back to here and here. Nope. Come on. There we go. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen so my computer doesn't freak out. So this week's Stick Pick of the Week winner is he smoked the cigar that I smoked tonight, the Undercrown 10. And the reason I chose this photo wasn't because it was like a really dope photo. It's a good photo. But because of the ash. So this week's Stick Pick of the Week is Rick Carroll. Look at that. Look at that.
Oily wrapper. Look at the oil on that wrapper.
What did you say?
The oil on the wrapper.
Congratulations, Rick Carroll.
E.H. Taylor.
Yeah, Stag? Weller. So Buffalo, Weller, the Weller Antique, George T. Stagg. There's a Blanton's up there. Looks like Eagle Rare back in the back.
Yeah.
So you got some E.H. Taylor. So you got the whole Sazerac family on that shelf up there. But I like that cigar a lot because, man, that's dedication. That's quality. We're talking about Drew Estate quality. That's good quality cigar. If
And you can
that
tell
down,
you can tell by looking at the ash that he slow smoked that cigar.
Mm.
There's no cracks in it. The striations are even and they are narrow, and that is signature of smoking slow and steady. It doesn't change. The cigar wasn't going out. The temperature stayed the same on the cigar. I mean, the ash can tell a lot about how a person smokes a cigar as well as the construction of the cigar. Sorry for getting nerdy on that, but
Fireborn says, realized I'm wearing a DE hat, was smoking Room 101, but voted DTT in the final. Cigar smokers are so fickle.
It's all about you when you smoke cigars.
Let me pull that off and come back over here. Sammy Flo says, I was surprised not to see Hoya, Aganorsa, JC Newman. They may have had a nice run. I almost put Aganorsa in there. I slipped in Roma Craft over Aganorsa just because I really love Roma Craft cigars. I smoke more Roma Craft cigars than I do Aganorsa cigars. Love the guys at Aganorsa. Fabian, Terrence, my guys. Let's see. I don't know the war with words, Chief Placencia Patron. I don't know what that's in reference to. So congratulations, Rick, on this week's stick pick of the week win. Proud of you, homie. Bob the Cigar Guy, we're gonna get out of here. Anything that you'd like to drop before you go?
Absolutely. I'm just going to talk to you, just you, not everybody else in the room. Smoking cigars is your own personal experience. If your cigar company was not on that list, it's on your list. And if yours was on that list and it didn't come to the top spot or it got booted out early, it doesn't matter because only you and that cigar are having that experience in that moment. So whatever you smoke at whatever price point, at whatever size, at whatever flavor, at whatever anything, if it's what you like, it is the best cigar in the world at that moment for you. And that is good enough. And I mean that because you deserve great moments, because you make the world a better place. And I'm so blessed and glad that you choose to spend time with me and Chief while we're sitting in the shed, hanging out, smoking great cigars. So until next week, I love you. I'll see you later. Turd.
All right. Let's do one of these numbers. Come over and grab this screen. Go there. Nope, not that. I'll just remove you. There we go. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We did hit 30 people tonight. So that's what, 3 shows this year so far with 30? We didn't even cry for 30 this go round. 10 out of 10 shows so far this year. Today is week 3, counting down to PCA. That means we have a show next week, Thursday on April the 2nd. Watch out, guys. Next week's April Fool's Day. Don't get fooled. Don't get joked. And then we will have the 9th of April. So we have 2 more shows before PCA. This is week number 3. Last week was week number 4. So looking forward to it. Again, we let me read out the names of companies that you guys can look forward to hearing from at PCA. We have booked Davidoff. So Davidoff means we're probably going to get not only Davidoff, but also possibly Camacho, Avo, and Zeno. Then we're going to go underwater and head over to our boy Wes with Deep Sea Cigar Co. Really looking forward to seeing that. Member at our lounge, owns a cigar company, and he's debuting at PCA this year. Then we got Drew Estate, Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust, Stolen Throne Cigars, Pastania, Adventura, and Natura Cigar. That's all on Saturday. Saturday is completely booked up. I'm super excited to see that. Sunday, we start out with Foundation. We start with Foundation on Sunday last year, too. Then we got Black Label Trading, JC Newman Company, West Tampa. And then we've got the 1 o'clock hour open at the moment. I hope by next Thursday, a lot of these are filled up. And then at 2 o'clock on Sunday, we have AJ Fernandez. Then we have the rest of Sunday open. And then Monday, we have booked Roma Craft and Aganorsa Leaf. So, Aganorsa Leaf may possibly be our last company of the day on Monday. Monday, the show ends earlier. We also will probably try to grab other different content during that time. So I'm looking to book at least another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6 more companies with the ability to book an additional 5. So we could have 11 more companies on here by the time everything's done. Also, I book out at hours at a time. So there's a chance that in between Deep Sea Cigar Co. and Drew Estate, we may have 40 minutes. So we may try to grab some, we might try to walk by a booth and say, hey, can we do a quick video here with you guys? But we will see. So I'm looking forward to it. It's getting really close. Again, PCA is 3 weeks away. Hopefully all the travel stuff is figured out by then. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Thank you to our show sponsors, Drew Estate, Natura Cigar, making sure that Chief Talk is available for you guys every single week when we're broadcasting. Big shout out to those guys. Do support them when you have the chance to. We love you all. Smoke something good between now and next Thursday, because I want to hear back what you were able to smoke in between today and next week. I'm going to try to find some new stuff to smoke as well, so that I can come back to you with a, hey, maybe try this out. We love you all. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Time to relax. Whew. Man, I'm beat. Whew. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a 1-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.